Ivanka Trump may have owned a clothing brand once upon a time, but her fashion choices haven't always hit the mark. From an ugly tie-dye dress to a bizarre Popeye-inspired top, the first daughter has worn some truly questionable looks over the years. In 2002, Ivanka Trump showed up to the New York premiere of The Sweetest Thing and looked like she scooped up a bunch of random items from a shopping spree and threw them on. Her chaotic look included a heavy denim jacket with the cuffs rolled up and a black top tucked into an asymmetrical skirt that couldn't decide whether it wanted to be a fluttery negligee or a clingy lace chemise. On her feet, she wore pointy-toed heels with X's marking the spot where they broke up the long lines of her bronzed legs. Making herself appear even more weighed down from the waist up, Ivanka tossed on a wide scarf. The jean jacket and scarf combo had the unfortunate effect of making her torso look boxy.
The fact is that I'm absolutely, proud to be a Trump.
On the Lex Friedman podcast, Ivanka recalled how Anna Wintour called her personally to offer her a position at Vogue in 2004. However, in this alternate version of The Devil Wears Prada, Trump had just graduated from business school, so she turned the job down to work with her father in real estate.
I never thought I would go into fashion.
That became quite clear when she wore this outfit to designer Behnaz Sarifpour's New York Fashion Week show in 2002. It's rather miraculous that Wintour called her after Ivanka decided that a denim miniskirt with a frayed hem was appropriate for Fashion Week. The stiff fabric jutted away from her body, creating a box around her hips that made them appear wider. When describing how she packs her suitcase, Ivanka once told GQ, "I'm very meticulous in the way I do things, so I use layers of tissue paper." Maybe what happened here is that a piece of tattered packing tissue got stuck to her top. The diagonal cut of the raw hem drew further attention to her hip area. The top's filmy fabric also wasn't lying flat, creating unflattering folds that made her look lumpy around the midsection. In 2003, Ivanka wore a tie-dye party dress that raised more than a few eyebrows. Her tie-dye garment with bell sleeves is actually not a swimsuit cover-up that she found at a seaside souvenir shop, but an off-the-shoulder shift dress designed by Behnaz Sarifpour. Sadly, Ivanka wasn't heading to a beach bonfire to toss it in the flames. Instead, she wore this to a Vogue party attended by fashion's elite. It's nearly impossible to make a splattered dress look like anything other than the result of gastronomical distress. The giant bodily fluid bullseye on Ivanka's torso featured a bile-colored splotch and rings in a watered-down brown shade that clashed with the golden tones of her tan. Because the dress's sleeves covered her hands and extended all the way down to the hem, her arms appeared unnaturally long. Ivanka's garment really deserved to meet a fiery fate, so hopefully she was carrying a lighter in that cigar box purse. In 2005, Ivanka wore a stiff, toe-skimming purple overcoat to the Young Friends after-party at Frederick's that looked like something Prince might wear. Although Donald Trump used Prince's music without his estate's permission during his 2020 campaign, there's no way he procured this coat for Ivanka by pilfering it from Prince's closet. After all, it's far too tacky to have ever belonged to the purple one.
I have nothing else to prove. I feel like the greatest performer that I could have been.
The coat's straight cut transformed it into a rigid column with a bust of Ivanka's head resting on top. In addition to making her body shapeless and washing her out thanks to the color, the coat was possibly making her too warm. The party took place in May, after all, so Ivanka's companions were wearing far more seasonally appropriate attire. When Ivanka appeared on the cover of the now-defunct Lad Mag Stuff in 2006, she wore a dress with a low-cut bustier bodice designed to create cleavage worthy of a Victoria's Secret catalog. However, at an event celebrating her sexy Stuff cover, she wore a decidedly unsexy dress, albeit one that referenced the boudoir in a bizarre way. Her cream shift dress featured a chiffon overlay and a folded neckline that looked a lot like the corner of a bedsheet. Keeping with the bedded theme, the fabric layers swallowed up her torso and fashioned her entire upper body into the shape of a pillow. She finished off the look with bland beige pumps, which were appropriately snooze-worthy and a poor color match for her bronze skin. For her 25th birthday celebration in 2006, Ivanka made an outfit choice fit for tabletop dancing. Shimmery horizontal stripes created the illusion of a wider frame from her neck to her upper thigh, while stark black boots cut across her calves, making her legs appear shorter. Together, these unfortunate style choices seemed to significantly diminish her height. This also wasn't a look you'd expect to see on the Trump Organization's Vice President of Real Estate Development. Acceptable comparisons include an extra from Austin Powers and Goldmember, or a pollinator that was ready to party. Yes, the stripes on Ivanka's shapeless mini dress weren't the right alternating colors, but because her headband and boots were black like a bee's antenna, eyes, and legs, she looked like a special species of the insect, one that collects pollen from the gilded floral accents inside her father's penthouse. She was even dragging a striped fur coat on the ground that had a similar fuzzy texture to the tiny hairs covering a bee's body. Ivanka might be her father's real estate scion, but she reminded everyone that she was very much Ivanka Trump's daughter at Dennis Basso's fall 2012 Mercedes-Benz Fashion Week show. Basso was a famed furrier, and Ivanka appeared to be wearing one of Basso's designs when she showed up to support him during Fashion Week. But if this was the case, it wasn't the best walking advertisement for his wares, a girthy fur vest that resembled a fuzzy life preserver. The piece was distractingly bulky, ruining the clean lines of her creased, flared trousers and making her look unnaturally top-heavy and slightly uncomfortable. Ivanka needed to be strong in 2018, the year she shut down her clothing company, and she outwardly portrayed that strength by channeling Popeye. Mere days after the news broke that she was exiting the fashion industry, she was photographed strolling across the White House lawn in a gingham top with balloon sleeves that gave her cartoonishly large forearms, like those of the spinach-slurping sailor.
Well, what do you know? This ain't grass. It's spinach!
Unfortunately, she gave in to some of her worst fashion impulses as soon as she was no longer the face of a clothing label. It also created comically off-balance proportions by pairing her bulgy blouse with skinny jeans. The top checked out with how she described her style to Romy and the Bunnies, classic with a modern twist. But her outdated jeans? Well, not so much. As you can see, there's no such twist in this particular outfit. When Ivanka shut down her fashion company in the wake of boycotts and accusations that she was using her political connections to her advantage, she told Page Six, "I do not know when or if I will ever return to the business. But I do know that my focus for the foreseeable future will be the work I am doing here in Washington. So making this decision now is the only fair outcome for my team and partners." Later, Ivanka would also leave her political career behind. Ivanka wasn't supposed to be the center of attention at the Team USA Awards. However, she ensured that all eyes were on her in a flouncy Alexis Nulani dress with way too many design elements, tears, bold black lace, and trumpet sleeves. She appeared overwhelmed by an avalanche of fabric, especially with her dainty ankles poking out from beneath the mounds of material. When posing for photographs, it looked as if she was buckling under the dress's weight. Ivanka did try to add some bling to her outfit by donning pointy-toed shoes with bedazzled buckles, but the footwear flourish gave the heels a pilgrim vibe. Overall, her attire was too old-fashioned and matrony for someone with such a youthful look. As one of her Instagram followers put it, "Love you, but I don't like that old lady dress on you." In 2017, Ivanka dressed herself in fabric that bore a striking resemblance to the favored headwear material of those who want to believe that they're living in an episode of The X-Files.
Do you believe in the existence of extraterrestrials?
As she posed alongside Jared Kushner in her date night look, her husband cheekily cupped her backside. However, the opulence made the couple seem particularly out of touch, seeing as Donald Trump's freshly inked immigration ban was causing turmoil for so many families when the pic was posted in 2017. One person commented on X, "No, her only response to all of this is, 'Look at me! Look how pretty I look!' I mean, really?" Aesthetically speaking, the biggest issues with the gown were an awkwardly fitting bodice that elongated Ivanka's bust and the metallic material's color. She'd be better served by her father's favorite precious metal, gold, as silver's icy hue doesn't complement her warm skin tone. What if Cruella de Vil fell on hard times and had to shop from the discount rack at TJ Maxx?
Give me the hat, or you'll become a hat.
While visiting the UK in 2019, Ivanka answered that question with her ensemble. Ivanka was preparing to meet with Britain's then Prime Minister Theresa May and other leaders to discuss business topics when she made the confounding decision to wear a Dalmatian-spotted blouse and skirt. This was a surprising look as it came after years of her fashioning herself as an expert on what women should wear to important business meetings and specializing in selling workwear to the masses. She once told the Wall Street Journal, "I design things that are consistent with my personal aesthetic, feminine, ladylike, and elegant for a professional woman." The semi-sheer outfit was not a disaster of Ivanka's own making, though. It was actually a Burberry design. Still, somehow even the tiny dots looked cheap. as if a bored Donald Trump had scribbled them on with his Sharpie during one of those dull discussions with his advisory team. The silhouette was also off, thanks to how overloaded with style components Ivanka was from the waist up. There was a pussy bow, sheer sleeves with patterned cuffs, and the bulge of her top's tuck. However, the biggest eyesore was the strange strip of spots across the chest. Because of the angle, it made her bust look lopsided. After Ivanka left politics behind, she must have gotten really into Yellowstone. She looked like a cattle ranch heiress in boots, cowboy hats, concho belts, and coats with colorful southwestern patterns. Rustic lace dresses also became part of her wardrobe repertoire. However, she'd already expressed a fondness for such garments, telling Redbook in 2012, "There's nothing I have more of in my closet than little white dresses." Apparently, she needs to keep her closet fully stocked to feed the blue jean beast residing within. While vacationing in Wyoming in 2019, Ivanka wore a strange denim and eyelet lace combo that resembled a prehistoric aquatic creature, gobbling down some poor granny's finest tablecloth. On top of being dowdy, outmoded, and a bit monstrous, the frock's belted waist was pulling the heavy denim down. Roomy roll-tab sleeves and fabric folds on the skirt also created odd, exaggerated proportions. Whenever the Manhattanite turned Floridian tries to channel her inner country girl, it reminds us of the start of Gwen Stefani's romance with Blake Shelton, when she started shopping at the same places her now hubby purchases his cowboy boots. If she ever plots a return to fashion, hopefully Ivanka stops attempting a cowboy chic style.